All right, let's talk about Mind2Web toward a generalist agent for the web. So this is a paper that has two contributions. There's a dataset and a method for implementing a generalist web agent. What is a generalist web agent? Well, it's the kind of agent where you can give a URL and a high-level task, and the agent will go and complete the task for you. This is opposed to lower-level tasks, which are things like click on the button and fill in the field with so-and-so. A high-level task is more like book me a flight from X to Y, find a car, find something, add something to cart, or maybe buy a product and so on. So a high-level task contains several sub-steps that need to be completed together. And it would be great to have a generalist web agent that works reliably. Why is it hard to build one? Well, many reasons. One of them is that it's difficult to evaluate the performance because even once you have something that you're fairly confident is good, the only way you can check if it's good is by giving tasks and observing what it does. And that's fine, but it doesn't scale. It's difficult to do it a lot. And anytime you make a change, if you want to go through this whole lengthy evaluation process again, this will be a huge pain. So the contribution of this paper, or one of the contributions, is the dataset that allows you to do this kind of evaluation, maybe even training, but I think there's about 2,000 examples, so I think it's mostly for evaluation. And the way the dataset looks like is they collected 137 websites. For each website, they came up with a list of possible tasks, and then they asked crowdsourcing workers to complete those tasks to kind of show how the tasks can be completed and recorded that. So these are some examples of how the tasks look like. As I mentioned, finding flights, looking for stuff on the web, completing forms, so on. And the way that the dataset looks like is basically, so there's the snapshot of the website. So there's the HTML, screenshot, and a task, and then there are the actions that are needed to complete this task, where each action is a pair of element and an operation. So an element could be like a button and text field or something. An operation is, type or click or select from a dropdown. And it's nice that the dataset is on Hugging Face, so you can look at what's there. All the snapshots are there, so that's nice and really useful thing to have. They collected it using crowdsourcing. They nicely describe how it was collected. Not the most interesting part, I think, so I'll skip over that. And the second contribution of the paper, besides the dataset, is the method, so some implementation of the agent, which is also quite interesting. They deal with the fact that agents or LLMs are good at reading HTML, but HTML is huge, and giving an agent a huge amount of HTML at every step is kind of tricky to make work right. So they have a way of dealing with it, and it's great. It does have the limitation that it only works with the DOM. So the dataset actually contains screenshots as well, but the agent only looks at the DOM. So there are some things that it won't be able to do, things rendered on the canvas or WebGL, stuff like that. They also obviously compare with some baselines. I'll mostly skip over that. This is, it's kind of without a standardized benchmark, which this could provide. It's kind of difficult to figure out where this is, but their agent does somewhat well on some of these tasks. And to me, and it's also interesting that related work is sort of towards the end of the paper. Usually related work is the beginning, but that's an interesting choice they made. I think one interesting thing for me is that this dataset assumes that for any given website in the task, there's one correct way of getting there. So you have the sequence of actions, but it's possible for any given task that there are multiple different ways that are equal valid of completing this task. And they kind of deal with it by trying to normalize the elements. So if you click on this button and there's another button that has the same effect, they will kind of unify that. But I think there's more to it than that. It might be possible to search for a thing using the search field, or you might equivalently do the same thing by clicking on a category and then clicking on product. And that's the kind of thing that this dataset doesn't really capture. So your agent might be doing the right thing in a different way, and then it will sort of still fail according to the benchmark. So I think that's kind of a big limitation. The other interesting thing is that exploration is not included. So the way they gather data means that there's some exploration step first, and only then, after the demonstrator knows exactly what to do, they record the action. So not as realistic as it could be. The scrolling isn't included, so basically you have to already know the website to do it, to complete the task. But all in all, interesting paper, enjoyed reading it, and I think it will be useful to see how this is used in the future. Thank you.